This time we are going to talk about Korean blockbuster movies. The term blockbuster comes from Hollywood. It means a big commercial success. It develops the ideas of globalization, superiority, and pride. The Korean film industry had a good technical base, but still fell short of American film standards. The term Korean blockbuster began to be used after the success of the first blockbuster Shiri. In 1985, South Korea made the first amendment to cinema law. It switched the industry from an approval system to registration system. As a reaction to improve domestic film success in 1993, a domestic quota started to become enforced. According to new law, domestic films screens for at least 146 days a year. Chaebol companies like Samsung began to join on the film industry around 1992, and with the success of the first Korean blockbuster Shiri, were willing to invest more. Chaebols then became involved in the entire processes of the film industry, especially helping the distribution. The distribution of domestic films became higher because chaebols wanted more people to watch the movies that they invested, in which caused them to create multiplex cinemas. Film Shiri was directed by Kang Chae-gyu in 1999. This is a love story between a female North Korean spy and a male South Korean agent. The film was watched by 6.2 million people in Korea. The blockbuster came to be understood as a hit in terms of viewing numbers and box office. It was the most expensive film in the history of South Korean cinema at the time of its release. Shiri was not only paid off, but also set another box office record, finally securing Korean commercial cinema in a leading position. In 2000, the film became the first international hit and one of the highlights of the Korean wave. Despite the fact that the film was shown at the first in only 2 countries, South Korea and China, in total it was watched by more than 6.5 million people. It broke the record set by the American film Titanic the same year with 4.3 million viewers. Joint Security Area was the second Korean blockbuster film directed by Park Chan-wook in 2000. Probably the biggest political event in the history of inter-Korean relations took place in the summer of 2000. When President of the Republic of Korea, Kim Tae-jun, and leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Kim Jong-il, met in Pyongyang. This meeting was covered in detail by dozens of journalists and television companies in South Korea. This meeting made a huge impression on all citizens of South Korea, and the director Park Chan-wook was no exception. Pacifist and humanist Park Chan-wook connected two main themes that were constantly present in all films devoted to inter-Korean relations. The theme of horizontal ties, public diplomacy, sincere male friendship that arose between the South Korean and North Korean border guards, and the instability of inter-Korean political relations, which in reality could tragically end at any moment. This is why the theme of political enmity between the Northerners and Southerners ends with an unexpected shootout scene. For 20 weeks, the film collected a record number of viewers, about 2.5 million. In 2000, the Joint Security Area won numerous awards, including the Azure Dragon Award for Best Film and Best Director. In 2001, actor Lee Byung-hun, who played the role of South Korean Sergeant Lee, was awarded a Big Bell Prize in the Popularity Award nomination. The 2001 film Friend was directed by Kwak Kyung-taek. The film Friend, based on some facts of his own biography, Kwak Kyung-taek presented as a historical nostalgic drama. For the first time in the history of South Korean cinema, the entire action of the film takes place in the second largest city of the Republic of Korea, the largest port and sea capital of the country, Busan. And all the characters in the film speaks the Busan dialect. He captured on the screen not only the life story of his friends, but also recreated the face of the ever-changing native Busan. He managed to raise solid corporate funds to create a blockbuster. In 2001, the crime thriller Friend, directed by Kwak Kyung-taek, became the leader of the South Korean box office. This movie shows the influence of the famous American gangster films. The story of the friendship of four school friends from Busan from the 1970s to the 1990s is based on real events from the life of the director himself. The director captured the plans of the port city, which gradually became the center of international trade, and showed that socio-economic changes in the city do not always have a positive effect on the fate of its inhabitants. The next Korean blockbuster, Silmido, was filmed in 2003 by director Kwon Woo-sok. The secret operation, which was being prepared on the island of Silmido, was a response to the raid of North Korean special forces that hit everyone in South Korea, who were neutralized just next to the presidential palace in Seoul in January 1968. The success of Silmido was well planned. Firstly, the attitude towards the personality of Park Chung-hee in society has been revised. And the citizens of the Republic of Korea have already begun to treat the former dictator with more respect, who, using cruel military methods, brought the country into the elite club of economically developed industrial states. Secondly, the idea of a peaceful reunification of Korea has always been one of the most discussed in South Korean society. Thirdly, over the years, under the pressure of military propaganda, South Korean citizens have become accustomed to treating their northern neighbors as potential enemies. The film Silmido, for the first time in the history of South Korean cinema, in 2002 became the absolute leader in box office. According to some reports, the film grossed more than $30 million in 15 weeks. In 2004, the film 38 Parallel, another title The Brotherhood of War, was released, directed by Kang Chae-gyu. The military saga 38 Parallel instantly gained popularity not only in its homeland, but also in the world box office. The film opens in the present days with a search through the Korean War battlefield in 1950s. The remains of a soldier with his last name are found, but elderly Lee Jin-sok, a combat veteran, quickly realized what is wrong. The action is transferred to the beginning of the 50s, in the year of the attack of North Korean troops in Seoul. Lee Jin-sok and his brother Lee Jin-taek are practically forced into the ranks of recruits, after which they are immediately sent to the front line. Next, we learn about the tragic fate of two brothers forced to fight in the battles of a bloody civil war, as well about ordinary citizens whose lives were crippled by this senseless war. In order to find out how events developed further, it is necessary to watch film 38 Parallel. Thus, we considered the subtopic Korean blockbusters. It should be noted that after the 2000s, the term blockbuster was not used.